Today we're tying up the X Caddis, originally tied by Craig Matthews. This pattern works great as an emerging caddis pattern, but it can also work great as just a general attractor fly. So let's grab some materials and tie some up. For the X Caddis, we're just going to grab our favorite dry fly hook, here a Foaling Mill FM 5050 in size 14, and your favorite brown thread. Here I'm using Veevus 10-aught. Now let's get this hook in our Wolf, Indiana Atlas vise. And we'll get that thread started about a quarter to a third of the way back from the hook eye. Get a nice thread base here all the way to the bend of the hook, and then I like to take it back to about the halfway point on that hook. This is where we're going to get some Lon material for that trailing shuck. And this material, it comes in whole bunch of strands. When you cut one off, I find it easier to kind of get a couple loose wraps and pull that material back into those thread wraps. And we'll wrap it all the way back to the hook bend. And then cover up those butt ends as best we can up here. Now we can get our Superfine dry fly dubbing here in Cinnamon Caddis, and we'll dub a nice thin tapered body. This X Caddis is really a great dry fly pattern, especially I would say for beginners who don't want to invest in an expensive dry fly saddle or cape. You really just need some dry fly dubbing and a nice patch of elk hair, and you're set for some highly productive dry flies. So I get very small amount more up here. Now that that body is all dubbed up, it's time to pick out some elk hair. So this is just your standard elk hair patch, and we're gonna get, this is probably less than a pencil diameter of hair. And it's okay if you grab a little too much, because you can always get rid of some of that. This is probably going to end up being a little bit much, but grab those by the tip, pull out some of those short hairs, as many as you can, and then I like to use this Stonfo dubbing brush and comb. So I just run that comb through there, and you'd be surprised at how much under fur and shorter fibers that this can knock out of here. When you're happy with your clump of hair, that's pretty good for our size 14. We're going to go ahead, get that in our hair stacker. And just go ahead and hit that stacker as many times as you really want. It can help too to angle your stacker. I know it's a lot louder, but that will help of get all those hairs all put down on the same side. And then there you have a nice little clump of elk hair that's ready to tie in for your wing. Now that our clump of elk hair is all stacked and ready to go, we can measure out that hair to be a little bit longer than the body of this fly. Caddis, their wings are always a little bit longer, so definitely don't go shorter, but you can make them kind of as long as you would like. So a couple of loose wraps. I'm going to hold that elk hair up towards me a little bit so that that thread tension will help bring those elk hair to the far side of the hook. Some wraps and some good tension. Luckily, this Veevus thread can really handle that thread tension even on this 10-aught. So then I like to make a few wraps around those butt ends and work my way up to, you probably can't see it because I'm all fingers here, up to right around the hook eye. This kind of makes a mess of all this hair, but we'll clean it all up here in a minute. Kind of want to try to get all that hair moving up. If there's any hairs that don't want to cooperate, we'll just trim those out at the end. So now is the perfect time to come in here, get all of that hair out of the way, and sneak a whip finish right behind the hook eye. Trim that thread out close, and then try to get all those butt ends all moving forward, all separated from the actual hair wing. You can see me come in here. I'm going to come in here fairly close and trim that off at an angle and create the head of that caddis. There, I got one. You can come in trim off some of those individual, that was one butt section that I had missed. Trim our trailing shuck about the length of the shank of the hook, plus or minus depending on how you like it. And that is actually looking pretty good with all those hairs. There you can see those elk hairs are coming down nicely on each side of the hook, really giving you that nice caddis profile. So that is Craig Matthews' X Caddis. This is a great caddis pattern or attractor pattern that'll catch you tons of fish. So grab some materials and tie some up. Thanks for watching.